Level 1. The Intern Badge. You are 23, standing in a hallway that smells like fresh carpet and old stone, holding a laminated badge that still has the plastic film half peeled off one corner. Your hands are cold, even though the building is warm. Somewhere down this corridor is an office you've seen 1,000 times on television, and somehow you're now allowed to walk past its door without an alarm going off. You were told to arrive at 6 in the morning. You arrived at 5:15 instead, sitting in your car in the parking structure, rehearsing your own name like you might forget it. Your coffee is untouched. Your stomach hasn't settled since the offer letter came through. A woman with a headset and a binder thick enough to stop a bullet walks past you without looking up and says only, "Keep up. You keep up." You don't know yet that those two words will become the entire architecture of your next several years. Your first task isn't glamorous. It's photocopying briefing documents at 7 in the morning, hole-punching them, and organizing them by a color-coding system nobody explained to you, but that you're expected to already understand. You mess it up twice. Nobody yells. Nobody has to. The silence when you hand over the wrong folder says more than any reprimand could. That night, you go home and stare at your ceiling, running through every mistake from the day. You don't know it yet, but this is the guilt of small failures, replayed on a loop, alone in the dark, is the psychological tax you'll pay for the rest of this job. Nobody tells you that when they hand you the badge. Level 2. The Shadow. You are 25 and you've earned a new title, Personal Aide. It sounds smaller than it is. What it actually means is that you are now within arm's reach of the most powerful person in the country, nearly every hour of every day. You carry a leather folio that never leaves your hand. Inside it, the schedule, updated every 40 minutes, printed and reprinted because paper still outranks the tablet in a crisis. You memorize entrances and exits to rooms you've never officially been told exist. You learn which hallway avoids the press pool and which one walks straight into it. You stand 2 feet behind a shoulder in rooms where history gets decided in under 10 minutes. You hear things you were never trained to hear. The tremor in a voice before a vote, the private cursing after a call ends, the sound of a hand slamming a table that never makes it into any transcript. You learn to become furniture. You learn that being invisible is not a weakness here. It's the entire job description. Your own name starts to disappear from your vocabulary. People don't ask how you're doing. They ask what the schedule says. Your identity quietly folds itself into someone else's calendar. And for a while, you don't notice, because the adrenaline is loud enough to drown out the loss. You haven't eaten a full meal sitting down in 11 days. You've stopped counting the 11 days as unusual. Level 3. The 3 a.m. call. You are 27 when your phone rings at 3:14 in the morning, and the number on the screen doesn't need a name attached to it anymore. You already know whose voice will be on the other end before you answer. There's been an incident overseas. Details are thin. The next 90 minutes will decide how the next 90 days unfold, and you are the first human being who has to relay information into a room full of exhausted, panicked senior staff before the sun comes up. Your hands are steady on the outside. Inside, your heart is doing something closer to a car alarm. You've learned to separate those two things completely, the outer stillness and the inner chaos, because the moment your face shows fear, fear spreads through the room like smoke through a vent. You watch the president age in real time across those 90 minutes. Not literally, but something in the eyes shifts. Some weight settles into the shoulders that wasn't there at midnight. You realize, standing in a doorway holding a phone in each hand, that you are witnessing the actual cost of leadership, the part nobody photographs, the part that never makes it into a speech. By 6 a.m., the crisis is managed, not solved. Those are different things. And you've learned the difference the hard way. You go to the bathroom, lock the door, and sit on the floor for 4 minutes. The only 4 minutes of that entire day that belong to you. Then you stand up, fix your collar, and go back out into the hallway like nothing happened. Level 4. The room where it happens. You are 29, and now you're not just present in the room. You're asked for your opinion in it. Someone with 3 more decades of experience than you turns and says your name, waiting for you to speak. And for a half second, you forget every word. You find your voice. You give an answer that's sharper than you expected it to be, built from thousands of hours of absorbing information nobody thought you were paying attention to. The room nods. The president nods. Something shifts in how people look at you after that, less like staff, more like someone whose judgment now carries weight in rooms that shape a country. You start getting invited to dinners you never expected. Senators know your first name. A foreign ambassador shakes your hand a beat longer than protocol requires, because word has traveled that you're someone worth being remembered by. You feel, for the first time since the photocopier, like the sacrifice is finally paying interest. But something quieter is also happening. Your relationships outside these walls are thinning out, not from any single dramatic moment, but from 100 canceled dinners, 100 unanswered texts you meant to reply to and never did. A friend from college stops inviting you to things, not out of anger, just resignation. She's learned you'll say yes and then cancel 2 hours before. You notice the silence where her name used to appear on your phone. You tell yourself you'll fix it later. Later keeps not arriving. Level 5. The face on the screen. You are 31 when a photograph of you caught mid-whisper into the president's ear during a tense press conference becomes the image of the week. Cable news anchors speculate about what you said. Strangers online decide, with total confidence, exactly what kind of person you must be, based on 4 seconds of footage and a facial expression you don't even remember making. Your face is now attached to policies you didn't write, opinions you never voiced, controversies you had no hand in creating. You read a headline calling you the most powerful person nobody voted for, and you sit with that sentence for longer than you'd like to admit, because some deep, dishonest part of you feels a flicker of pride before the shame catches up to it. Your mother calls, worried, having seen your face on a channel she doesn't even like. You tell her you're fine. You are not entirely sure that's true anymore. You've started flinching slightly at flashing lights, at the click of a phone camera in a restaurant, at anyone who looks at you a half second too long. You learn that proximity to power doesn't just borrow you prestige, it borrows you enemies too. Ones who've never met you, who never will, who hate a version of you assembled entirely out of speculation and a single freeze-framed expression. Level 6. The last day. You are 34, standing in the same hallway you first stood in 11 years ago. Except now you're the one walking someone else through it, a 23-year-old with a half-peeled badge and cold hands, rehearsing their own name under their breath. The administration is ending. The furniture is being wrapped in plastic. The office that felt permanent for over a decade is being quietly disassembled into boxes labeled by staffer initials. You take one long look at a door you've walked through thousands of times, and you feel something you didn't expect. Relief. Tangled up so tightly with grief that you can't separate the two. You shake hands with the president for what might be the last time in this specific context, and neither of you says anything particularly profound. There isn't a cinematic line. There's just a nod, a thank you, and a hand on your shoulder that carries 11 years of unspoken understanding in it. You walk out of the building for the last time as staff. Nobody stops you at the gate to check your badge, because your badge was deactivated an hour ago. You stand on the sidewalk outside, in regular clothes, watching regular people walk past you without a second glance. And for the first time in over a decade, nobody in the world knows exactly where you are. It feels like standing outside in a coat that's too light for the weather. Freeing, and a little bit unbearable. Level 7. The new shadow. You are back on the sidewalk outside that same building 11 years earlier, except now you're on the outside looking in, a private citizen, watching from behind a barricade as a new motorcade pulls in. Through the tinted window of a black SUV, you catch a flash of movement, a young aide, maybe 23, gripping a leather folio too tightly, walking half a step behind a shoulder, memorizing an entrance they've never officially been told exists. You recognize the posture instantly because it used to be yours. You almost want to walk over, almost want to tell them what's coming: the 3 a.m. calls, the disappearing weekends, the friend who'll stop texting, the 4 minutes on a bathroom floor that will become the only minutes that belong to them. You don't. You just watch them disappear through the same door you walked through for the first time once, badge still half peeled, already being quietly folded into someone else's calendar. The motorcade pulls away, the gate closes, and somewhere behind those walls, the entire cycle resets itself, exactly the way it always has. Invisible, relentless, already choosing its next name.